So one of the things that you're going to need to do as you work on a computer is to find an efficient way of getting files from one place to another. And that's where an analogy of maybe traveling is a good way of looking at it. If you're going to go on holiday, you're going to gather together all your clothing and sunglasses and shoes and things like that. You're going to need to take them with you, and you don't want to just have a big pile of stuff that you are carrying with you. So it makes sense that you have a suitcase. A suitcase is basically a place where you can compress everything into a convenient space where all the air is missing and everything is pushed close together, so that you can then conveniently take that suitcase with you, and on the other side you can open it up and you can take everything out and it's all ready for you to use. That's exactly how zipping or compressing files works on a computer. If you have a lot of files and you need to get them from one place to another, maybe to another computer, or you need to maybe submit them to for an assignment or something like that, you need to take all of those files, you need to put them in something that will conveniently compress them so that they take up less space, kind of like removing the air out of your clothes in a suitcase. Compressing your folder is really removing anything that isn't important. And then you have one zip file that you can then take with you, or you can submit, and then the person that receives it or yourself can then extract, and everything is still there, nothing is missing, but it was a convenient way for you to get something from A to B. It's also a convenient way for you to archive stuff so that it doesn't take up too much space on your computer. Okay, so let's have a look at how this compression thing works. So you'll see here on my Mac, I have a folder that contains a whole lot of different files in here: MP4s, Illustrator files, After Effects files, images, and so on. And if I just right click on that folder and I choose Get Info, it's 6 megabytes in total. You could also get info by saying Command I. Right, it's 6 megabytes. Now if I wanted to compress this into a zip file, I right click on the folder, or I could go inside here and select the individual files and right click, but I'm going to just right click on the folder and I'm going to say compress files. And you'll see that it makes a little zip file here, and let's get info on that. And you'll see that this is 5.4 megabytes. So it's reduced the size, not that much, but it all depends on how many files. If you've got hundreds of files, it's going to reduce it by a lot, but it's not magic. It's not going to reduce like a 1 gig file to a 1 meg file. That's not going to happen. But it's made it a little bit more size efficient, and everything is zipped together there. Now, if I took this zip file, submitted it, or took it on a flash stick somewhere else, and then I wanted to extract it again, on the Mac, all you have to do is double click on that file, and it will extract everything back to a folder, and inside there are all of your files. Okay, so that's how compressing, making a zip file, and unzipping works on a Mac. On Windows, it's much the same, but a little bit different. So here we have the files folder with exactly the same files in it. If I right click on that folder and say Properties, you will see that it's 5.67 megabytes, and you'll see that it's got 5.9 bytes, so or 5.9 million bytes. So it's a little bit less clear as to what size it is. I think on the Mac it just rounds it, but here it's very specific, and let's just say that it's nearly 6 megs in total. So to zip up this file, or folder, at least not file, we're going to right click and we're going to say compress to zip file. Okay, here it is here. Now if I bring that file out here and check the properties, it is 5.14. So it's a little bit smaller than the Mac zip file, a little bit more efficient with its compression. Now, the one thing to note on Windows is double clicking once you've got your zip file, if you take it to another computer or whatever, or if you submit it and your marker downloads it to Mark, double clicking on the zip file does not unzip it. Very important for you to remember. It shows you the contents of that zip file. So there's all the contents there, but it is not extracted. It is still in the zip file. And that's important to remember, because if you want to open and work on any of these files, you're going to need to extract it properly. You can't just double click and start working on those files. So to extract a zip file in Windows, you need to right click, extract all, choose your destination. Now I'm going to give it a different name, so I'll say desktop, Mike's stuff, select folder, and extract. So inside Mike's stuff is a files folder, and inside that files folder is all the extracted files. Okay, so it's important to remember on Windows that just double clicking on a zip file does not extract it. It just reveals the contents of that zip file.